Hi, this is How to Get Your Shit Together with me, Sue Wright. It is Saturday evening, Saturday night. The time is 9:26 p.m. and I am sitting here with half a glass of wine. I've drunk the other half already. And I just thought it was quite an important conversation to have about good old wine o'clock. Because recently I've changed dramatically since I did all my big changes earlier this year. So if you're listening to this, we're now at the end of November 2022, and in February 2022 I had some monumental changes in my life. And what I realised as I poured my glass of wine this evening was how infrequently I do that these days, and how, more importantly, how I used to use good old wine o'clock as an excuse to blot out all of the utter crap that was going on in life. All of the dissatisfaction, all of the frustrations, all of the... I can't even word it, that kind of, you want to do things but you're being hampered left, right and centre, or there's not enough hours in the day to do everything, or there's not the energy in the day to do everything. And I used to sit down at, to be fair, it was always about 9 o'clock was wine o'clock. I used to sit down and have a glass of wine just as a means of going, do you know what, this is just going to stop my brain running at 100 miles an hour. Which sometimes it did, and but 9 times out of 10 it just ran at 100 miles an hour with a glass of wine in my system. I never really had more than 2 glasses, I'll be honest. And it wasn't every single night, but my God, there were some times it actually got close to being every single night. And that was when I actually had to kind of give myself a bit of a kick up the bum and go, hang on a minute, this is a crotch. This glass of wine isn't just a harmless glass of wine. This glass of wine is a crutch. This glass of wine is a means of just disappearing somewhere else. And it can be, it's pretty, I don't know, it's pretty, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for. It's sad, I guess, that, to escape, you pour yourself into a glass of wine. But I've done it. I've done it night after night after night. And I know clients have done it night after night after night. And I think the reason why tonight is a kind of unusual occurrence and I've poured a glass of wine is because I fancied a glass of wine. But it wasn't for the reasons of, blacking things out. Not that 2 glass... Well, I have to say, after having not had wine for ages, half a glass of wine's gone to my head. But you know what I mean? It's not leaping into a glass of wine or a bottle of wine even and just disappearing and hoping the world will be a better place in the morning, because apart from feeling like utter poop when you wake up, the world won't have changed just because you've consumed some alcohol. So it's just checking in. What are your go-to naughty habits for blocking out all the stuff that's not going well in your world? Be honest. It's not a drinking problem per se. I say that very, very sagely because, it may be for some. But it's not the alcohol's fault. It's not the chocolate's fault. It's not the bag of potato chips or crisps, whatever you want to call them. It's not their fault. It's the fact that you're using them as a substitute because you need to sort some shit out. You need to face up to what's giving you dissatisfaction. You need to face up to what is making you feel miserable. We need to look at what we need to change. I was very, very lucky. I have the skill set to recognise these things, to address these things, to make some huge changes, controlled changes, most of them. But it is quite tricky. It's not an easy thing to do, and it's not an easy thing to do on your own. And that is why there are people like me in this world to help you through it. Now, some of you may be helped through it through listening to my podcasts. I sincerely hope that they do help some of you. And I don't want you, if you're sitting there with that gigantic bar of chocolate or that glass of wine or that third glass of wine or whatever, that big pile of cheese, to feel really bad about the fact that you're consuming it. That is just the symptom. We need to get to the cause. We need to be really honest and go through a process which is quite painful sometimes to admit these things, but it's got to be better than the alternative. I sincerely hope from the bottom of my heart that I can help people actually live their lives. Not exist through a haze of cheese or wine or whatever. I want you to live your life fully for you. Because if you can live your life fully for you, you will be of enormous benefit to your loved ones. They will be happy, you are happy. Yeah? And if you haven't got any loved ones per se, do it for you. Put that glass of wine down, get a bit of paper and a pen, pick your glass of wine up again if you want, but write down what it is that's causing you this distress, this discomfort, this dis-ease. Yeah? And then we can work on it. Hiding it away, burying it, ignoring it isn't going to help. Okay? So there are people like me that can help. There are, lots of things we could be doing to work through it. But the first thing is to recognize that you are doing a habitual thing, whatever that may be, your cheese, your chocolate, your wine, your crisps, your whatever. You are doing a habitual behavior to mask something deeper. And there's nothing wrong in it. There isn't. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel crap. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just recognize it. Because admitting to it is the first step to getting your bum out of that naughty habit. Yeah, and you can do it. I believe you can do it. I believe you can change. Yeah, I believe in it with all my heart that every one of us has the capacity to turn our lives around and live our best life. Okay, so I'm going to go and finish the other half of my glass of wine now. But again, like I say, it's a glass of wine. I probably won't have any more because, been there, got that t-shirt now tonight, and it's getting late, so I'm going to go to bed. So anyway, I hope I haven't left you all doomy gloomy. As usual, you can get in touch with me if you need some help and support. My email is possibly the best place to start, sue@suegw.co.uk. Okay, but like I say, just reach out if I can help. I'm more than happy to. Okay, it is possible. All right, don't feel guilty. Just put your cheese down, put your wine down, and write that list of the things that are really getting you down. Then you can start to take it forward. All right, you take it easy. Good night.